Father Manny Maningtim, and the administrators and students of Adamson University, Professor Dr. Felix Wilfred, and the most distinguished editors of Concilium, theologians, scholars, and interlocutors from the Philippines and abroad, from different schools of theology and religious communities in the country. Friends and guests, good morning. To begin, I would like to show you an old map. This was used by Philip Jenkins in the book The Lost History of Christianity. This clovered map has the world divided into three, like most medieval maps. Its center is Jerusalem, with Europe to the west, Africa to the south, and Asia to the east. Originally printed by Heinrich Bunting, a German mapmaker, in his book entitled Itinerarium Sacrae Scripturae, Journey of the Sacred Scripture, 1581. This map shows that Christianity, even at that time, was seen to have equally gone into threefold directions: west, south, and east. But Christian historiography decided to highlight the west, and a little bit of the south with Augustine and Pilario and company. The east was obliterated after some time, since they all became heretics, Nestorians, Monophysites, Schismatics, and in our century, nobodies, as they were violently banished and annihilated from existence. Asian Christianity, in the words of Philip Jenkins, has been a lost Christianity. But it could not be denied that Christianity was stronger in Asia and North Africa than in Europe. And only in about 1400s did Europe and Europeanized North America decisively became a Christian heartland. Through different external political forces, Christianity was almost totally annihilated in the Asian continent from 14th century onwards. Thus, Christianity only became to be considered European by default. Europe, Jenkins writes, was the continent where it was not destroyed. Matters could easily have developed otherwise. The force of this dominant Christian story continues up to our times. Even the great Karl Rahner thought that the Vatican II was the first event in history when the church became a world church. First it was Jewish, then European, and then a world church, which includes Latin America, Africa, and Asia. This Eurocentric view, which our church history books have always taught us, has forgotten that a vibrant Christian movement was very active in the East, almost at the same period as it was in the West. The great Presbyterian historian Samuel Moffett writes, "Before the end of the 1st century, the Christian faith broke out across the borders of Rome into Asian Asia. By the end of the 2nd century, missionary expansion had carried the church as far east as Bactria, which is now known as northern Afghanistan, and mass conversions of Huns and Turks in Central Asia were reported from the 5th century onwards. By the end of the 7th century AD, Persian missionaries had reached the end of the world, the capital of Tang Dynasty in China, as this Nestorian monument, which still exists in China, shows, constructed as it is in 781 AD. The missionaries have traveled by land through the famous Silk Road, or by the sea, reached as far as China, Mongolia, Japan, and India and the Southeast Asia. During the first millennium, there existed diverse, yet mature and vibrant expressions of the same Christianity in all of the central cultures of the world. Roman, but also Mediterranean, Persian, Chinese, Indian, Armenian, Arabian, African, and so on. As the Philippines is preparing to celebrate the 500 years of the coming of Christianity in our land, we know that long before that, centuries before, Christianity is more vibrant as it is. It is this diversity that we want to celebrate in this conference, as we are also cognizant of the powers, colonial and post-colonial, economic and cultural, social and political, that shapes the Christianities in Asia and the rest of the world. In the conversations of the next 3 days, we want to understand what are the ways of thinking and being, liberative aspirations and power asymmetries that both challenge and empower Asian Christianities. We will hear about how Christianity deals with other religions, women, men, and indigenous spiritualities. We will also help build the visions of what Christian theologies would look like in the future. Inspired by Vatican II, Concilium has always been guided by the spirit of diversity, openness, and dialogue. And also true to the Asian spirit of dialogue, the main method we follow in this conference is conversation. If there is anything that we invite you to do in these next 3 days, it is to converse and dialogue. As you notice in the program, each theme has 2 or 4 or 3 speakers whose different locations and perspectives are asked to dialogue with one another. East and West, North and South, speakers and participants, academic researchers and pastoral practitioners, men, women, LGBTQ, and all. As we celebrate the 500 years after the Reformation, we are happy also that our Protestant theologians are here with us. As we also invited some leaders of indigenous religious and churches among us. We hope that this spirit of conversation and dialogue in this hall will continue in smaller classrooms during the concurrent sessions, during the breaks, and during the meals, as we meet new faces, encounter new ideas, and make new friends. Let the conversations begin. Thank you and good morning.